You know, when I'm not trying to look for shooting stars, I see them all the time, but when I try to look for them, I can never find them. Anyway, today's subject is about Hab-Snaps. I've been working on them, and I'm getting closer and closer to having something that's useful as a general tool for almost anybody. Still a few kinks to work out. Let's go ahead and start talking about some of the limitations of modules. One of the biggest limitations is that each manufacturer has its preferred cockpit module to go with their habitat modules. Some of them look good with it, and some of them, not so good. HopeTech, I'm looking at you. However, one of the problems is that these cockpits cannot look very good when they're going with something that's not manufactured by them. I'll show you an example. Deimos is a good example. I'll pick it. Oh, good God, that's hideous. Look at that. See that sharp edge? That doesn't meld in at all. And you either can ignore it or you can try to fill it in by somehow glitching in something. I don't know. That's always bugged me. It's bugged me since day one. Why can't they make all the mods look good with everything? Well, there's a good answer for that. Let's quit whining about that and go ahead and explain what I can do. Okay. So far, the Hab-Snaps don't go well on a habitat that has a door in it. You will tend to see a picture. And although you can go right through the picture, it looks terrible. It's not a good look, and it removes the enjoyment to a degree. Let's get that picture. Oh, look at that. It's a pretty picture of a hillside with a couple of trees on it. And you will see that if you go inside of a module. It's a picture of a hillside with pretty trees. You can pretend it's a curtain, but it doesn't work. Now, the last time I was working on this, I gave you different sizes. And that's all well and fine, but we still need to do something about the doors. What I've done is given a half-assed way to do it, and that is a module fit for doors. Unfortunately, it's half-assed because I have found the ability to turn all these nice snaps into something that's not invisible to you. You can only find it if you mouse over it or if you grab another structure and it'll suddenly appear. What you can do with this, though, is snap this to a door without that picture. And if you use place doors yourself, it will happily get along with it. Let's see, where the heck. Let's go ahead and do a pass-through. There you go. If nothing else, it'll help keep you informed on where that Hab-Snap is. The Hab-Snaps then are useful for mounting things on the other side. Obviously, you wouldn't put a cockpit there, but you can put the cockpit there, and when you walk through it, since I've made it a pass-through, you won't see that ugly curtain, and you'll be able to pass right through it. I've tested this against a couple of other things that would normally cause trouble. For instance, Metellija's stuff and Deratech. We'll test that out to make sure. If this makes a monkey out of me, then I'm going to feel really angry. But first, let's get on with the primary task of this. I need to find a way to turn this boxy thing into something pretty that will fit on that. And let's see if I can grab it. There we go. And I've made it different sizes to allow me to do that. 75%, that might work quite nicely. Let's try that. By the way, the numbers are kind of arbitrary. I'm still in the middle of trying to get them just right. And I think I've got most of them down. What I'm trying to do is allow it to merge into another device without being apparently so on the inside. Let's go ahead and bring it out and see. If I can scroll down there eventually. There we go. A deimos spine piece already wants to attach. Oh, by the way, you will notice that all of these have the door icon on them. That's to allow them to be offset like that as well. You'll still get the same effect. An empty, it won't mess up your door. For this occasion, we're just going to do it like this. And we can merge in there. We're not quite right. Let's go ahead and see if we can remove that, make it a little bit closer. Let's try that one. There we go. Now, on some of these cockpits, it's pretty thin on the inside. This one just barely touches into the interior of that cockpit without messing up too much. And I think it removes a couple of inches off the interior. Doesn't interfere with the monitors or the seating. Unfortunately, of course, if you decide to go backwards using this method, let's get rid of that extra gun. Oh, that's another thing you'll notice. Each of these is now bidirectional, so you could stamp anything to the front or to the back. But here's a limitation, of course. If you do that, you walk into that habitat, you're going to see a big pokey thing sticking out through the walls. That's the reason I made different sizes. For instance, we'll copy this one. Oh boy, there we go. Don't lose them. Okay, for instance, if I wanted to make something a little bit bigger, some of those devices, like, well, let's take it for instance. See this one? The snap is on the bottom, and that's why it goes with a certain length of snap. If I stick it out on a snap that expects it to be on the outside, it'll snap differently. Here's a good example. Let's try a wing. Come on out, wing. See, that's not going to work. That's deep inside of the structure. Now, this, I believe, is a 75%. Let's try 100%. Better, but still not good enough. Okay. Let's go to the next one. It's 125%. There you go. And that should just barely poke into the hab inside. Now, like I said, this is not final. I'm going to have to make a couple of adjustments to allow it to go in like that. The reason I've done this is you may have something in between that you cannot snap to normally. And what I've done is I've bridged it. Of course, I can bridge it in other ways, and that is by attaching a snap to the side. I think I may have demonstrated this to you. If not, then let's go ahead and show you. There you go. This will extend your snap to, let's try to put that there. Okay. The snap is here, and the snap is now in the middle of the module. This will allow you to, for instance, oh, come on. There we go. Overlap. You know, if you got something that's going to poke in the way, but you see what I mean. I mean, there's no way in hell that these snaps are where they're supposed to be. And that's because we've put something in the middle. Now, for these sides, I've only got 2 sizes. That's a halfway. And although you can see it's clearly not a halfway. That is actually halfway. I'll have to rename those, but you get my point. Okay, we've also got something for the top and bottom. What are you doing way out there? There we go. Let's see if we can make use of this. Take a look at that. Or grab it here, like that. Or I may need something a little bit smaller to allow me a little bit better adjustment. You can see how small the adjustment can be. We've done all this without changing the dimensions of the habitat, without having to use BodgeTech blocks, which are still very useful, but I want to try to get away from that as much as possible, because the extra volume then has to be figured out in whatever design you do. And of course, this one's flippable. Now later, I will make them all the same unidirectional types, although you will get a nice picture at least. They won't be like that. I'm still working on that. I have a ways to go. I spent all day today and yesterday trying to come up with a solution, and I've got to find an expert to help me out. Anyway, that's it. I'll catch you with a small tour to show where I may have screwed up.